Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/rive to receive the top 10 stocks to buy right now. We learned this morning that Great Britain's competition regulator said that it's going to block Microsoft's deal to acquire Activision Blizzard. Now, this is a deal that has been in the works for about a year now, and there's a lot of regulatory hurdles that both companies need to get over for this deal to actually go through. We know that the deal is going to be challenged around the world, including in the US and in Europe, but this is really the first time that we've seen that the deal might actually fall apart because regulators aren't going to approve it. I want to go through what's being reported early on. This does not mean that the deal is dead, but I do think from an Activision Blizzard shareholder standpoint, this definitely puts the value of buying the stock right now into major question. So that's what I want to dig into today. My name is Travis William. Thank you for watching Rev Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content, and let's get right to it. This is just a couple of the headlines here. CNBC reported that the deal was blocked. Early this morning, Wall Street Journal, similar reporting. And I want to look at the market's reaction because we're a little over an hour into trading as I'm recording this. Activision Blizzard stock is down about 10%. Microsoft, who actually reported earnings last night, that's the reason their stock is up 7%. So very different stories about what's going on here. But I want to look at Activision Blizzard stock and why this may be just the beginning of a downfall for the company. You can see that over the last year, the stock has actually increased pretty significantly, despite the fact that the market has been struggling overall. If we compare this to Take-Two Interactive, they're performing about the same over the past year. Remember, this was after the deal was announced. And if you look here, now Take-Two is actually performing better than Activision Blizzard. These are really the two competitors that I would say should be more or less mirroring each other in the gaming industry because they sit in a very similar position. They don't have their own gaming console. They're not niche developers developing really small games that maybe go on smartphones or a console here and there. So they kind of sit in the middle. And that's what I think is ultimately going to be challenging for them to generate value long term, is that a lot of the value is either going to accrue to the big gaming platforms. So Sony, Microsoft, Apple would be another one to put in there, whether that's console games or cloud games or smartphone games where Apple's going to be taking a tax on that because of the App Store fees. Those are going to be the big platform players, and they don't necessarily care which game is going to be successful. They just want people playing games on their platform. On the other end of things is going to be niche players who are going to be developing games that they just need a small audience for. They're going to be developing on things like the Unity gaming engine or the Unreal Engine, but they don't have big infrastructure like a company like EA or Activision Blizzard does. So these two companies in particular kind of sit in the middle there. And I think of this as a smiling curve. But I think of this as a smiling curve, and the value is going to probably accrue to the edges of that curve rather than in the middle. That's why Activision Blizzard specifically really needed this deal to go through. If they don't have it go through, they're going to have less power against those platform players, and they're still going to be competing against all those niche developers. So that's a pretty tough position to be. And if you look historically, they have not grown profitability as much as you might think, given the stock's performance over the last decade. Most of the stock's performance is actually because of multiple expansion. So as we have consolidation on one end and better tools on the other end, I think that leaves both of these companies kind of out in the cold. That's why from an Activision Blizzard standpoint, if this deal doesn't go through, this is not a stock that I would want to be in. And I think it could fall significantly from here. Right now, $61 billion market cap. Obviously, that deal would go through at $69 billion. But if it doesn't go through at all, we could see this stock fall significantly. I don't know if that's 10% or 50%, but there's really not a lot holding it up to a $60 billion valuation, especially if other companies are going to be able to extract more value out of the value chain. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about the potential of Activision Blizzard not getting bought out. Leave those in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Rive Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you here next time.